Welcome everybody to the NextSavePoint show. We are the weekly podcast where we talk about video game reviews, news, and what else is good in the video game world. I am your host, Travis Costello.
I'm Editor-in-Chief Joshua Russo.
And I am Jerry Rocha.
Rad Rocha. Well, welcome in, guys. What's good? What's new this week? Anything cool?
You guys watching Jessica Jones?
I saw it's on Netflix. Isn't that awesome?
I expected both of you guys to be done with season 1 by now.
No, I did watch the first episode. Very interesting. Kind of Veronica Marsy. I'm missing that the Daredevil. You know, I'm missing the Daredevil aspect where it's like super badass and punchy right from the get-go. But this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I haven't started. I'm really excited for it, but I it just started yesterday, right? If I'm mistaken.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so I gotta get in on that. Hopefully today or tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to drag it out because like Daredevil, I cranked out like 2-3 episodes and I said, no, this is too good. I gotta savor this. Speaking of, I also did that with the Hunger Games books. When I read the Hunger Games books, I tried to take my sweet time, but I just pounded through those. And yet, the movies, I'm just not getting to the movies. And the latest movie just came out. What was it, Thursday? Who's going?
I'm going today.
I didn't see part 1, so
a little behind there.
Oh, part 1 of this. Okay, yeah.
I saw the first 2 movies.
I only saw 2 and 3. I refused to see the prequel. Yeah, the second part of this. I don't know. I read the book, so no spoilers. But if this is anything like the book, this is going to be a very depressing second movie. It's all about war, and so all of this is just the war part of it.
That's good. The first one was incredibly boring. I get it that it's all set up, but to me, that was just like, come on, man, you shouldn't split a book if it's that thin on content. That's
what they do now. That's the thing. You just take the final book in a book series and you make it into 2 movies because
profit.
Profit. Step 1, collect underpants. Step 3, profit. I got an update on my Fallout bugs.
Ooh, so is the honeymoon over? Are you still in love with Fallout as much as you were?
Yeah, I still love the game. I mean, the game it's fun. I'm so eager to play it. I can't wait to stop talking to you guys so I could get back in there. But
I did see. Sorry to interrupt you, but I did finally see the chainsaw video that Josh was talking about last week, and that is incredibly annoying. It would drive me so crazy, and it's just ridiculous. Like, why does he make a chainsaw sound?
It's permanent.
Yeah. I sent him out of Sanctuary. I sent him to a different settlement because I was like, I don't even want to hear you when I'm in Sanctuary now. I was like, get out of here, dude. Every time I go back, I remember that, and I get so mad.
Yeah, I got the power armor bug where one of my guys jumped into the power armor during an attack, and now he can't get out. Now he's fused with it. He looks like an alien. He looks like a monster. I tried to shoot him as I was walking up to him because I didn't think he was a human. But,
and it's not like he's wearing it.
No.
So he's like fused.
Is it? He's the power armor. He's at the size, like his arms are stretched out to the length of what the power armor would be. It's like he's inside it, but he's all stretched out. It's weird.
That's funny.
Yeah, and it sucks too because I spent like an hour and a half in my at Sanctuary Hills in the settlement, and I was cranking out this awesome, cool new 3-story basically bed warehouse. I'm just because I want to get more settlers, and so I spent a bunch of time decorating all this cool stuff, putting up walls, and now I either have to go back to the beginning of that, and I don't even know where my last save point is. I think I did a solid cool new mission where I got a cool new companion. I have to go back before I even got him in order to not have this guy steal my power armor. Oh, and by the way, Mike can't get that power armor back. And that's the one set that I actually upgraded. So
you'll just have to find some more, and there's plenty out there. But yeah, that's a huge bummer.
I didn't realize how many there were. There were actually quite a bit.
Yeah, I got like 6 suits just standing around, and most of them don't have any armor. They're just frames.
Yeah, and it's cool running around in just the frames too because it increases your strength, so you can actually carry
Yeah, and you don't take any of the fall damage, even if you're just wearing the frame. You can jump from wherever.
Did you guys see it? By the way, speaking of fall damage, did you guys see that video on IGN where this guy jumped off the tallest Fallout building in his power armor?
I did, and it was kind of pointless at the end. Like, I don't know what I expected, but
I'm assuming he just jumped down.
yeah,
Yep.
that's
Jumped
it.
down, and he, didn't take
That's
any
it.
damage.
Yeah, it's like Borderlands. I didn't realize that Borderlands doesn't have fall damage. And so when I was walking around Borderlands, I was playing at Josh's. Was it Borderlands 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were playing Borderlands 2, and I'm walking around, and I'm trying to get, find my way down a hill or a mountain or whatever that thing was. He's like, oh, just jump off. Like, that's so... It's anti
So
what I've been
weird.
taught throughout
Yeah,
the video.
when that game first came out, I was jumping between that and Call of Duty, and I forgot several times that I needed to remember about fall damage when I went to Call of Duty.
Yeah. Oh, in Call of Duty, you get that cool, leg snap.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
Yeah.
So, have you beaten Fallout 4 yet? Either of you? Probably
No.
not Jerry.
No,
You had a late start.
did play for 4 hours, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm following the main quest, but it's something that I realized happened with Fallout 3 too. Like I got it on release, played it once or twice, like within the first 2 weeks, and then like something clicked, and which I'm expecting it to happen with this one too. But something just clicked with 3, and I just couldn't stop playing until I got 1,000 or 1,000 in the gamer score. And I'm expecting something similar to happen with this one too, because I mean, I'm not saying it hasn't grabbed me yet, because it's a solid game, but right now, I can kind of slide away. Oh, I'll play some Destiny here and there. Oh, I'll play some Resident Evil Revelations. It's not completely doesn't have its hooks on me completely, which is a shame.
So you're just taking your time whenever. All right.
Yes.
What
Yeah.
about you, Travis?
I didn't realize that you could check your game time. You could see it in the save point, and like you have to do a manual save, and it'll show you how many hours you've played. I'm up to 24 hours, so I played a good solid 8 or 9 hours since then.
Oh, nice.
No progress.
Oh, really?
I've just been doing a lot of exploring and stuff like that. Finally got to the Brotherhood of Steel missions. Started checking those out. There's some missions at Diamond City, or quests, whatever you want to call them, at Diamond City that I checked out. Got a couple cool new companion options, so that's pretty cool. Met some cool people, some very interesting characters, but I don't know. Like I kind of just been tweaking my guns and kind of getting those. I don't know what I'm like getting them ready for, because I think I'm fully prepared to go into anything right now, especially at the level that I'm at. But yeah, just
What level are you at?
I don't know, 15. 15.
Yeah, I'm level 9.
That's cute.
What's the level cap?
There is no level cap, actually. I think you can go up to like 200 and something, just
that's what
until you get every single perk on the chart.
Did I say 15? I think I'm 200.
You can get all the perks in the chart. I thought kind
Yeah.
of the point of Fall is that you have to pick and choose what.
Well, it's still going to take an incredibly long amount of time. So, I mean, by the time you do that, you're going to be already done with everything. Oh, well, I don't know. I can't say that about Fallout, but I feel like you'd get the feeling
should
that
be
you
done.
did everything. Yeah. Because I'm level 49, and I'm almost at 50 for that trophy. And I'm planning on platinuming it. Hopefully, by the end of my next podcast, I'll let you guys know where I'm at.
How are you doing? Because I read the only thing that's really hard to do in one run is the I guess you would call them faction specific.
Oh yeah, you got to save at certain spots and then go back, or start a whole new game. Which I think I might. I mean, I might do the. People like to have fun and do a 0 on their intelligence or a 1.
Oh yeah,
And then super high charisma. And so you sound like an idiot, but people are entranced by what you're saying.
I've seen a couple posts with a couple videos of fallen characters with at New Vegas. They treat you like a dummy. It's pretty funny.
So what is that? You walk up to somebody and your response is like, "Oh, I don't know," and yet they still give you.
No, it's more along the lines of like I need water or
Yeah, and so you talk like a caveman.
Where location, like stuff like that. It's pretty funny.
Me kill you.
Yeah.
Do they do it with the voice actors too? So the voice actors.
I'm
actually
assuming.
recorded me
I'm
killing
assuming
you?
they would. That's why I want to do the
that's
new
awesome.
character.
Because this one, the way I discovered this one was at New Vegas, where I saw that you could do that, where the dialogue options were like that. But New Vegas didn't have voice acting for the main character, so it'd be funny if they did it for this one.
See, for me, I have such a fun time, like not talking. I do like the voice actors and everything like that, but like I have such a fun time walking around and just shooting stuff, and I don't know. That's how I'm playing the game. Mm-hmm. But that would make the talking so much more interesting. I'd want to walk up to everybody. And especially if the voice actors actually, I mean, I know they recorded films for 40,000, I don't know how many lines of dialogue, but if they recorded all that, that'd be a whole other game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you know if I platinum it. That's probably what I'm going to do next.
You mean when?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, Josh is, for the listeners, Josh is a notorious trophy hunter.
Well, I still got to catch up to Jerry, so that's why I'm doing it.
Really? So Jerry's in the lead still. Ooh.
For now.
Yeah. And I mean, technically, we're tied when you combine our gamer score and our trophies, but
yeah, we've kind of abandoned the Xbox, but that's where the bulk of my achievements are. I've got a good 30,000 more gamer points than Jerry does, I think.
That's true.
And he's got a few trophy levels on me, so.
I think I have like 1,500 gamer points on my Xbox.
Yeah, I got more than that in just Fallout 3.
Yeah, they don't give you gamer points for just playing Call of Duty for 50, 60 hours, you know?
No, I know. Like Black Ops, I have 0 achievements on, but I played a ton of it. That's all I did was play online for that game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's what you do for those games in general.
Yeah.
I did like the campaign for some of the Modern Warfare games. They were very interesting.
I enjoy most of the Call of Duty campaigns just because it's a short 6-hour Michael Bay movie for the most part. Oh, yeah. And you know what? It's not bad.
Yeah.
Not like a Michael Bay movie.
So we talked about that. Josh, do you have any questions? You had a question?
No, it was just seeing if you guys watched Jessica Jones. That was it.
When I first heard about it, I was a little peeved because so those characters, I know a little bit about comics, so I'm gonna probably screw this up.
Just a little bit, right, Travis?
Yeah, but I'm not an expert, but I do have a little bit of background. But you have the Power Man and the Immortal Iron Fist and Daredevil and Jessica Jones. So it's Luke Cage, whatever the Iron Fist is. They're all the Defenders, and so they have a group. And so I think Marvel and Netflix have a thing where they're gonna do. They did Daredevil. Now they're doing Jessica Jones. I think they're going to do the Luke Cage story. They're dating, by the way, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones. I know, spoilers. And then also the Immortal Iron Fist. The Immortal Iron Fist, in my opinion, is so much more interesting than Jessica Jones in terms of comics. But Marvel decided to go with Jessica Jones first. So I trust Marvel.
Really?
I trust them. They've not hurt me, except for Iron Man 3. They've not done anything that bad, but I would be curious to see whether or not, if the audience sticks around. And with Netflix, we don't know because Netflix doesn't really publish their viewership. I have a question for you.
Shoot.
So Ranker.com, you guys have heard of it. It's a very cool little website. And the community, Ranker community comes in. They get a ton of people voting on what they think is the top 10, 20, whatever of anything. And so I figured it would be fun for you guys to guess what the best video games of all time are, according to Ranker. Over 118,000 votes.
Dang.
I voted in, and they go down. I mean, it's like top 50 or something like that. But let's just do the top 10.
All right.
As voted by the people.
The people.
The people.
So it's not what you want. It's the consumer.
It's the consumer. Yeah, and like looking at this list, I go, yep, that's pretty much it.
All right, we'll see. Let's see. Drop it on us.
All right, who goes first?
Well, no, you guys guess. Go ahead.
Oh, guess?
Do we want to do back and forth?
Yeah. Go. Okay, so since Jerry started.
Jerry, you start. Go.
Am I starting at 10 or at 1?
Oh, you just guess what's in the top 10.
Oh,
If you
easy.
could- if you could nail-
Easy.
If you could nail it.
Super Mario Brothers.
Super Mario Brothers is
The
number
NES. Yup. Mm-hmm.
2. Number 2.
I'm going to go with Ocarina of Time because everybody loves that, even though Majora's Mask is better.
Ocarina of Time, number 1. You
Boom.
nailed it.
What?
Boom. Dude, it's what they want. I told you.
It really is, and like that's one of my top 5 for sure.
Man, I didn't really. I thought we were gonna go with like a classic or something. You know, like
Ocarina of
Pong
Time's
or-
a classic. Come on.
But see, I think it was like right at that like peak of like video games were starting to really just blow up, and so
This was a transitional time for Nintendo and video games in general when they
It's true.
introduced the analog stick.
In the world of 3D.
best. All right, Jerry, you have
All
another
right.
guess?
Let's say, Space Invaders,
That's a good guess.
but it's not.
It's not true. It's not.
Aw.
I think there's got to be a Pokemon Red or Blue on there, and that counts as one game for me.
Yeah, I mean, you would
Yeah,
have to, and neither.
Are you serious?
Then, yeah,
Is it
number
one per
16,
franchise?
Pokemon Red and Blue, number 16.
Is it one per franchise, or like are we doing like games individually?
I don't know. This game's individually.
Okay.
So
So-
I'll give you a little hint here. There is one. There's one franchise that seems to stand out.
Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah.
Yep, I knew it.
Yeah.
What number is that one?
That was number. Super Mario Brothers 3 is number 4.
Wow.
Man.
Yeah, and it's old and new. I mean,
Oh, here we go. All right, Final Fantasy VII. It's got to be on there.
Final Fantasy 7, number 10.
Oh,
Oh,
barely
sweet.
made it.
Yeah, squeaked in. Yeah, and just so you guys know, Red Dead Redemption is number 11, and
Wow.
yeah, I'm so sad that
Did
they
it break your heart?
squeaked right out of there. Yeah, that's a great game.
It is.
All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have numbers 1, 2, 4, and 10. So we need 3 and 5 through 9. I'll give you guys 2 more guesses apiece.
All right. I
What
think
you
it's
got?
Josh's turn.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll go Tetris.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Josh's turn, but he nailed it at 8. Tetris is number 8.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that one makes sense because, man, talk about, I mean, on the Game Boy.
When you say classic, that's what you're talking about.
Okay. I'm going to go with, for my guess, it would be Super Metroid. Way to stall, right?
Yeah.
And I think I might possibly guess the Super Metroid is not on the list.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to scroll down and see if it's on where it is on here, but I just don't see it. I mean, it might be. Nope, I don't see it.
No? Wow, really?
Yeah.
All right, I got for my last guess. This better be on there. Super Smash Brothers, preferably Melee.
Great guess. Not on there.
Oh.
Not a single Smash Bros is on the top 10.
Well, it's Super Smash Brothers Melee is number 28.
Oh, that's way too far back.
Yeah, and then the Super Smash Bros is 35. So both of them are on there, but not in the top 10.
Wow.
Last guess, Jerry.
Last guess. Okay. It's a little bit out there, but it's a solid game, so I think it should be there. Star Wars and Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, great.
That is not going to be in there.
I loved that game. It's not on the top 10.
Oh my
It's
god.
number 24. If we were doing the top 24, you guys would be killing it right now. No, so let's go start with 10. We have Final Fantasy 7. Number 9, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, 1991. I know. Number 8, we have Tetris. Number 7, this one doesn't surprise me. I'm surprised you guys didn't get it. Super Mario 64.
Oh, man. I didn't think Mario was going to have 3 in the top
3,
10.
yeah.
You just wait. Number 6, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas?
Yeah. I
Question
agree.
mark?
No, best GTA. Before 5.
Is that the one to have? Like, I mean, I played San Andreas. I thought it was great, but I remember Vice City being way more fun. But But hey, I'm not 118,000 people. I'm just 3 people. Number 5, Super Mario World. Number 4.
God, they got 4 Mario games in there? I mean, I don't disagree with it. It makes sense, but wow, the power of Mario.
I know, right? And so, like, when I saw this list, I thought, I can't really get... You got to think outside the box, people.
Yeah, well, wait 10 years. This list will be totally different, I guarantee it.
Oh, yeah. Number 4, Super Mario Brothers 3. Number 3, The Elder Scrolls V... Skyrim.
Boo.
Wow, that's
not
okay.
These are fans. These are fan
well, those are fanboys.
Yeah,
it's a great game. I liked it a lot.
Not top
5, not top 10. I wouldn't put it there.
Top 25.
Definitely one of the best games, but not best of the best.
Oblivion was better. Okay, come on.
Oh no, it wasn't. Come on.
Can I interest you in some of my wares?
Number 2, Super Mario Brothers. Number 1, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Let me a couple of highlights in here. Red Dead was 11. I know Josh and I think Jerry. Mass Effect 2.
Ooh.
Number 12.
Oh yeah, really?
Wow.
That is impressive and unexpected.
Yeah.
But that game's awesome.
It is.
Fallout 3, number 13. One of my favorites, GoldenEye 007, is number 14. That's in my top 5. I think we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Number 15, Portal.
Oh, Portal's good.
Yeah.
Portal 2.
And then, I could go on and on. List Half-Life 2, BioShock, Resident Evil 4, Batman.
Ooh, BioShock.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some really good ones in the top 20. But I thought that was interesting. When I saw this list, I thought, man, Mario. That Nintendo's doing something right.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Well, cool. Thanks for playing. We don't have.
I think I won, right?
We
Somebody keep the score.
Josh 3-2. We'll tune in. We'll have the list. We'll do the list, guys. I thought that was a pretty fun little segment.
Phantom guest champion.
Yeah, ranker. They do a good job at ranking. Let's move on to our checkpoints.
Yeah.
So, this week we have some really interesting checkpoints. If you go to NextSavePoint.com, you could go in and check in daily with our daily checkpoints, where Josh curates some of the best links from around the web. Or you could follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Next Checkpoint. Be sure to do that, and you will get these updates. But today we are talking about...
We've got a few today. So, let's start off with Rainbow Six Siege was... announced that they have an open beta starting in 3 days. Yeah, November 24th, I believe. We have that coming out. And Jerry, you signed up for it, right? Is it sign up only or is it open?
I remember when EA announced it on their E3 presser. I remember signing up a couple weeks later on IGN's website, and I remember getting a key for it about probably a month ago. But to be honest, the game didn't really seem that appealing to me, so I just kind of ignored it. I mean, that totally could have been like a closed beta, and this might be the open beta part of it. But I don't know, I guess Rainbow Six is one of those franchises that just couldn't quite make the jump from its big popular days back in the 360, I feel like. Or at least they took too long.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a huge jump, or a huge gap between their last hit and this huge push. I mean, there's been so much marketing and so much advertising for this new Rainbow Six game. There's a lot of buzz about it. I think they're doing it right in terms of just getting everybody hyped about it. But when's the last time we heard a Rainbow Six game hit it out of the park?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
and
a while.
This actually is an open beta on all platforms, and it's on the 25th that it starts. But yeah, it is open. It's going to be their final beta test, obviously. The game comes out in the beginning of December, so.
And this is Siege, right? This is the one where it's a lot of teamwork, and you there's one group that's inside the house and one group that's outside the house, or whatever it is, and you have to kind of plan your attack, your approach, and everything like that.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's multiplayer only too. There's no campaign to go with it.
Yeah.
As opposed to the last all the Rainbow Six games,
Yeah, they usually have pretty cool storylines too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with named like Tom Clancy, you expect some kind of like mystery espionage thing kind of going on, but I guess they decided to skip it for this one.
Yeah, is he still like actively involved in these games, or is he just kind of
I believe he's dead.
I think he's dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these aren't well, okay, actively wasn't the right word, but these aren't like based on a lot of like novels that he's got left over or anything like that. I don't know. He's got a pretty big library of novels, right?
From what I've read, there's authors that write under the Tom Clancy name, like Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six by Josh Russo. You know,
obviously I don't read anything, but
it's part of the franchise name now. You know, like it's like Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. You know,
like Tyler Perry's Medea.
Exactly, perfect.
Exactly. Yeah, readings for losers. We talked about this. Rainbow Six beta. I'm interested to see how it does, but
you gonna try it?
No.
No.
I'll try the game. When it comes out, I definitely want to play it. I want to feel what it's like to kill terrorists. I mean, I think that siege aspect of it is really, really cool. Siege aspect, that's literally the whole game. That's what I'm not excited about. I feel like I'm buying. It's kind of like what we talked about in Battlefront. I'm buying a game, like a type of game. Like, what am I talking about? Like a game arena. I'm not buying a full-fledged game. I don't know.
Makes sense.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll definitely try it out. I definitely like the idea behind it. You know, the teamwork, communication, and everything for you to succeed in it. But we'll see how it does.
Another thing. I mean, we'll move on, but the teamwork, you have to have your friends online. And if you know anything, like, how often are we all online together?
Never.
I mean, that means I got to talk to random people, strangers,
and that's not going to happen. I don't even want to answer my door when the UPS guy comes.
There's $5 in the mailbox. Leave the pizza and leave.
All right, so next one we got here is Gametsu. Covers Japanese video games pretty well. They have spotted a listing on Korea's game ratings board for a Biohazard 6 remaster, which in America we know this game as Resident Evil 6. It's been rated for the PS4 and the Xbox One, so it looks like it's going to be coming to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One as a remaster next-gen game. Anybody excited for this, Resident Evil 6?
Ooh, yeah.
Really?
I did not like Resident Evil 6. That was such a disappointment. Like, they hyped it up so much. You get to have Leon back again, you know, the main guy on Resident Evil 4, one of the best games. Hey, wasn't Resident Evil 4 in that list?
Yeah, it was up there. I mean, it was in the top, I don't know, 20.
Yeah, okay. So like, there was a promise of Leon, you know, like a return to like a badass in Resident Evil, and it was crap. I did not enjoy that game for the time I played it.
My familiarity with the Resident Evil franchise is the movies, and so I went back. What?
That's not a good reference point.
I know, but no. So that was my introduction to the game, and so I went back in, and I checked out that the remaster of Resident Evil 4. You know, where they went. You could I guess. The big criticism was when it came to PlayStation 4, they changed the gameplay so you actually can control your character a little bit better.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it was in the Resident Evil 4 remaster?
They implemented a couple different control schemes because if you remember correctly on at least when I played on the GameCube, you would aim your gun with like R1 and then use the left stick to move the sight, I think, if I remember. Yeah, no, sorry. On the GameCube, it's the left trigger to aim down the sights, left stick to aim, and then the right trigger to shoot the weapon. So when the HD version came out, they added a couple different controls, including the tank controls from Resident Evil 5, and a couple other options. And you know, people like to complain nowadays.
I'm one of them.
So there were a couple different options. There were obviously the classic mode, but I think by default you got like the new control system, which I guess people didn't know you could change or something. So
yeah, I know it made it pretty fun to play, but again, it's tough playing those old games. I like the remasters; I think they're great, but it's tough playing games that they look decent, but that old style of gameplay, it's a very limited there's a gap for me. There's a difference between, you know, Donkey Kong 64, where it's a nice side scroller, very simple gameplay, and like The Last of Us, where it's a very complex gameplay. There's a gap in between those two where I'm just not a fan of going back and playing. Like, I had a tough time with Fallout 3 because the gameplay was a little dated. I mean,
some games do not age well, and I think Resident Evil games definitely fall in that category.
Yeah, and the graphics, even though they're updated, it takes you out of the game because you're so used to really good graphics. But you could, you know, dial it back to like a classic side scroller, and you're okay with the bad graphics because it's kind of like nostalgic.
And even then, like with like a side scroller, the 2D sprite art for the most part can hold up, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Totally.
Like I was playing Super Mario World the other day just because I turned on my Wii U finally after a couple months, and I played Super Mario World, and that game still holds up. It looks great, and
that's why it's in the top 10.
Exactly.
But speaking of remasters, let's move along. And Gravity Rush for the PlayStation Vita, which Jerry, you've played, and I have, but I haven't played. Is remasters coming out on the February 9th next year? Got moved up, so Gravity's Rushing a week earlier, February 2nd. So now it's coming out a little bit early. So Jerry, you played it. Did you beat it?
No, I did not beat it.
Oh,
no, I wish. It's again a solid game. Has definitely some cool gameplay mechanics. Not something you see on your everyday game. You know, like the perfect Vita experimentation type game, and had a good story. From what I played, it has a lot of, you know, mystery and intrigue to it. But you know, the Vita doesn't make it really comfortable to play for long periods of time. With a game like Gravity Rush.
For somebody like myself who's never played that, would you recommend I pick it up? I mean,
yes,
it's going to be on the
PlayStation 4.
Right? Yeah.
Yes, no, I definitely recommend it because one of they definitely try with the Vita version of the game. They definitely try to make the missions very short because of that, because it's just kind of how awkward the controls are. The game kind of needs to like the game you need some kind of like fine tuning because as the title implies, you can manipulate gravity, so you can pick different surfaces to like to pull you down, you know, even if it's sideways, up. So it kind of requires some fine tuning with the stick. But unfortunately, because the Vita sticks are so small, it's kind of hard. You miss, you know, you tend to miss shooting and stuff like that, like shooting your landing spots.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of awkward to play. So I'm hoping with the PS4 remaster,
they'll work that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the whole point of bringing it to the PS4 is to introduce it to a bigger audience, because it was never widely received on the Vita because, well, not a lot of people have Vitas. And the sequel, Gravity Rush 2, is only going to be on PS4. So they want to have that base already set by the time the sequel comes out so they could push more copies. When that
and they really, remember back in the day, they really try to push Kat, the main character, as you know, like I'm assuming like a franchise character for Sony, because she even appeared on
Sony Smash Bros.
Yeah, exactly. She appeared on
PlayStation All Stars.
There we go. I was like, what's the name of that game? Jesus, Sony Smash Brothers. But you know, I definitely recommend picking it up. I'm probably going to pick it up on PS4 just so I could play it with, you know, prettier graphics and hopefully a better control that won't cramp my hands after like an hour or two of play.
It kind of reminds me of those Telltale games. Like my first Telltale game I picked up on the iPad. Very fun. It was the Wolf Among Us, but as soon as I played it on the PlayStation 4, it's like a night and day difference. It's so much better on the big screen where you have the controllers where you don't have to worry about like all those swipe mechanics. You just push a button or push a joystick. It's actually great.
Did you play either Game of Thrones on Telltale?
That game, episode 6, is waiting for me.
So you've played the first 5?
Oh yeah, big fan. I mean, because I love the show.
So you'll be happy to hear that less than a week after episode 6 has come out, the finale for season 1, Telltale CEO has already, I think his name's Kevin Bruner, he's already confirmed that a second season is already in development.
Very excited. Very excited. I'm excited to see how this one ends. Excited to see where they take it.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I know with these Telltale games, you can have whatever ending you want, and that's great because I'm so sick of the ending that Game of Thrones keeps giving me. I feel like I'm being abused left and right every episode. So I'm excited to check this out.
Yeah, isn't there like a collection coming out?
It came out the same day, episode 6. They launched a retail version that includes every episode. So for those of us like Travis and myself that didn't buy a season pass, don't want to wait every week. See, I prefer those games. I don't like to wait. You know, how long do they space these episodes out?
Oh wow, it wasn't so bad. The first 5 episodes, like they actually came out within either 1.5 to 2 months. But man, they took their sweet time from 5 to 6. Like I think episode 5 came out like in June.
See, man, when I played the first 2 seasons of Walking Dead, and I cleared both of those because I got them after they were already both welling out. And I played them all in a week, I want to say. And then my wife, Brooke, was watching me, and she got into them because they're really good at, telling these stories, and you get invested. And I can't wait a month and a half after one of those episodes. I just want to go right into it again. So I like to wait until we get those full box releases in the stores so I can experience it all at once.
And I'm the complete opposite. Like, I can't wait. Like, I need to. Like, I had a season pass for Walking Dead season 2. It's just when I was like, I want to know what happens. Like right off the bat. And the thing that sucks about because I play them. Every 2-3 months whenever they come out. You forget little details. You forget stuff that happens, like, oh yeah, like this happened. And the recaps kind of do like a terrible job because they're trying to cram like 2-hour experience into like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
it doesn't really work. But I just can't help myself. I have to play it right away.
How many hours do you think each one of those episodes is?
The Game of Thrones, they're like about 2 hours. The longest is maybe 3. But for the most part, like, they're all like 2.
That's fun. That's a fine amount of time. You could actually go back and replay all the episodes if you wanted to, leading up to the new one. I mean, that's what I do. So, spoiler alert. It's not a spoiler. Whenever a new season of Game of Thrones comes out on HBO, I watch all the previous seasons leading up to it.
That's smart.
It's getting harder. It's getting harder. You tack on 10 hours of footage every time I go to watch a new season, but I love doing that because it really keeps it fresh. And with these Telltale games, they're not super long, so you could go back and replay it, and the replay value is great.
True.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Next up on the list, we got Beyond Two Souls, which, Jerry, I believe you got in the rundown for the new releases later, because they announced that, yes, it's real that those are coming to PlayStation 4, and Beyond Two Souls is coming next week, November 24th, so it's 3 days for us.
Quick turnaround, from announcement to release.
And then they also announced Heavy Rain, which I think is a much better installment of Quantic Dream's game.
Quantic Dream.
Yeah, I always mess that up. That is coming March 1st. And Travis, I know you haven't played it. If you're not going to get that game, I will buy that for you.
I am excited for Travis.
That's how good that game is.
That's how good that is?
I'll buy it and I'll let you borrow it. I don't know about buying it for you. But I'll buy a box copy and let you borrow it.
That's
if
great.
you're not
I'm enjoying Watch Dogs. Your copy of Watch Dogs. It's sitting right there.
I forgot. See, that's okay because I'm not missing that. But Heavy Rain
it'll be $6 on Black Friday.
Awesome. Watch Dogs?
Yeah.
Wait, so the Heavy Rain, that style of gameplay, is that like a Telltale game? How does that play?
It's very much like a Telltale game.
It's very
but it's a little more complex, right? It's got a little bit more to it, right?
It's not as episodic, but I mean, I guess you could count the episodes as when you jump from character to character. But I mean, would you say it's more complex in terms of the choices?
I think so, because
endings.
Didn't you tell me the other day there were like 22 endings to Heavy Rain?
Yeah, I don't...
Something like that.
Somebody told me there's like 22 or 23 endings. I'm not sure how vastly different they are. But I know that there's at least 2 gigantically different endings.
Yes, and I feel... Sorry, Travis,
they're more different than the Fallout 3 endings where they would just change like a line.
Yes, definitely. I like my ending a lot. I'm not going to say what it is, but I was very satisfied. That's a fantastic game. I should go replay my PlayStation 3 version.
No, 'cause going back to the endings, I think Walking Dead Season 2 had 6 endings, if I'm correct. But they're both, like, I felt like it was, from those 6 endings, it was really more like 2 endings, and then just the characters that were with you, and from those 2 endings.
Yeah, I felt like they all ended in the same area.
Yeah, whereas the Heavy Rain, like, it takes everything into account, like, because your characters can die in that game. Like, if you mess up and your character dies, he's dead for good. Like, you won't see him again.
That's what they're saying about Until Dawn. Like,
Yeah,
you could end that game with like one person or all the like. I guess there's numerous amounts of endings for that thing.
Yeah. Something. I think the number is around the Heavy Rain number in the 20s for endings.
Oh wow, that's cool. I would totally play it again. It's on PlayStation 3, right?
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah, do you still have your PlayStation 3?
do. I just got it. Yeah.
You want to borrow that?
I bought that post.
Wow, way to jump from Beyond Two Souls. God, you guys are like Ellen Page and Willem Dafoe.
You played that, right? Didn't you?
I did play that, and I beat it.
Oh, you did beat this one.
Yeah, I did.
Well,
beat
let
it.
us know. Should we pick up Beyond Two Souls next week on PS4?
It's less. I say yes because it's kind of one of a kind experience where you actually get big name actors to be in the game.
Yeah.
But the game, the mechanics, I feel like there's less liberty as there was in Heavy Rain because you can totally tell with Beyond Two Souls they had this story in place, they had this idea, and you couldn't really stray from that idea, that path that they wanted to. Like there were a couple of like dialogue options and dialogue choices you can make, but for the most part, you were set on a path.
So,
and
even though you had open options, it was essentially a linear.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Exactly. But it has some really good performances by Willem Dafoe and Ellen Page. Like they really brought their A game to their A game to their performances in this game, which is weird. You don't really expect actors to put in, like Hollywood actors, to put any effort on video game.
Peter Dinklage.
Dinklebot.
I don't know, the Dinkles. He
rip in peace.
He didn't sound that bad, but when I picked up Destiny and I got it's Nolan North, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, that is an engaging little robot.
He has a personality,
It's
like
great.
maybe his voice isn't as cool as Peter Dinklage's, but that the new Ghost has a personality. Like I was like, he has a personality to him. Dinklage was like guarding down, like
Well,
like,
since we're talking about Destiny, you want to tell us a little bit about the new update they rolled out this week, Jerry?
woo woo! The new update came with a new Iron Banner game mode. After a year and a month of Iron Banner Control, they finally gave us a new game mode to play Iron Banner, and Clash was just pretty much your basic team deathmatch, 6-on-6. Big relief. It's much better. I enjoy it a lot more. Been playing some of it. From their last Iron Banner, they obviously took in all the feedback the community
Which
posted.
you gave some feedback on www.nextsavepoint.com. Go check it out.
They pretty much took point by point and fixed it. The loot system is fixed. They still don't drop as high as endgame gear, but they're higher than the 283, like 285 stuff we were getting before. You get packages for ranking up Iron Banner from 1 to 5. Bounties are still there, they're pretty fun, and they definitely increase the drop rate when you at the end of the match screen. Because I already got a couple things from the event, and I haven't really played that much.
Are you getting a lot more exotics or legendary gear? I mean,
No, legendary gear.
Okay.
Gear. Yeah.
Do you get any exotic? Did they increase the amount of
Exotics in my whole time playing Destiny, I've only had one exotic drop in PvP in the Crucible.
Oh.
One.
Oh, okay. That's not a lot.
No, that's not a lot.
Because you've played a lot.
Yeah.
Yes. I tally the numbers. I have around 500 hours.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jerry,
I don't know if I've ever played a game that long.
I don't think I've ever done 500 hours on anything. Let me check to see if I've been married for 500 hours. Like, I don't even know.
Yeah, 500 hours across all my characters, including the one I deleted.
Oh, so look, do me the math real quick. So this is what, 20 straight days, 20 plus days.
It averages out to hour and a half a day for the last year.
That's not bad when you space it out like that. I mean,
No, that's still pretty bad.
It's an hour and a half a day.
I played World of Warcraft, and you can check your time, your gameplay, at any point. And I think I was in the many days, like in the dozens of days. So I can't say that 500 hours is too much because I probably have enough
that.
WoW under my belt. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sure however much you have, there's guys who have exponentially greater hours on WoW.
And we love those people.
In my group of friends, there's a couple guys. We have a clan, like former coworkers, and there's about 9 of us that play Destiny consistently. And I'm not the highest hours. I don't have the highest amount of hours played. I'm like the fourth place. Like there's the number one guy has something like 900 hours.
Well, if you want to be a champ, Jerry, you got to step up.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so last checkpoint we got on the list here is Sony has confirmed with Wired, they sent off an email, that they are working on PlayStation 2 emulation on the PlayStation 4. They wouldn't comment any further, though, so we don't know whether that's digital emulation of downloadable games or if that means you can actually dust off some PS2 games and pop them in your console and play them right away. But I'm assuming we'll hear more about that at the PlayStation Experience in 2 weeks.
I think people are getting too excited about this, and they're going to end up being disappointed. Because I think all this means is going to be that you can buy digital stuff from the store. I don't think they'll allow us to use our physical PS2 discs and play them on the PS4.
So that's my take. You can't throw in your disc and then download that game from the store? Because isn't that what Xbox is doing? You could just throw in the 360 disc, and that allows you to digitally download that disc to your drive.
I don't think so. I don't think that's how it works. No.
Some of us need to get an Xbox One.
Yeah. I don't think because then if you download it, then what's stopping you from returning the game or selling it, If
I think you gotta have the game in every time you play it.
Yeah, that could
But the content's all digitally on your system.
I don't think that's how it works, but I might be wrong. I don't have an Xbox, so I don't
look into it. I'll let you know next week.
Yeah, and all the Xbox 360 games, I already played and beat, so I don't want to go back to that.
So again, I don't think it's going to be physical discs, mostly because people tend to blow out of proportion anything that Sony kind of tries to say, and I think the fact they're very coy about how they phrased it, like it was like a 2-sentence announcement.
Yeah,
I just think it's not going to happen. Like, just
said they're working on it.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be cool. Don't get me wrong. That'd be really cool to plug in. I have a couple PS2 games that I could, but I don't honestly, I wouldn't use it. I mean, I
was gonna say, what PS2 game would you want to pop in there first? If I feel like everything I have, I've played so much that
yeah. And even if whatever you have, there's probably an HD remake of it,
Yeah, or an iPhone version of it.
Yeah,
Vice City. Yeah, I would play that Vice City, and I would just get in the car and drive around and listen to the sweet music and then the commercials. The best part about that game were the weird commercials where they recorded random people talking about random stuff. Oh, it was the best. So good. Well, cool. Thanks for the checkpoints. I love hearing about those. I'm most interested in Rainbow Six Siege and see how that does, but I'll probably pick up the Beyond Two Souls based on your guys' reviews. But we are going to move into the topic of the show. This was a topic that we brought up. Josh brought it to our attention. Now that we're reviewing games and everything on the NextSavePoint.com, it is a constant. How do you describe the perfect 10, Josh? How would you describe the reviewers struggle to find that perfect 10 game?
Well, see, that's where the idea for the show topic came from, was because I was reviewing Fallout 4, which we gave a 9, out of 10, which you can read at nextsavepoint.com. Check it out. Reviews up there. And that game's great, and it does have flaws. But when you think about it, is there a game that could be a perfect 10? Because honestly, when I think of a 10 out of 10, that means there's no negatives to that game. And I feel like it's sort of a reviewer's job to nitpick, and in order to be objective, you kind of got to try to look for a couple of negative things in there. You don't want to go in with an agenda to tear it down, but I just feel like with how complex most games are today, it's almost impossible for me to feel comfortable saying a game is perfect, because I don't know if that can even exist anymore.
I agree to some extent.
What do you disagree to?
Mostly, I think it's a product of the time, because back in the day, you really had your game really had to work, to release it. You couldn't release a broken game, whereas nowadays the tools have gotten so complex that when you release a game and something's broken, well, guess what? You can do a day one patch, or hey, something's not working. There's another patch. So I think the mentality has kind of shifted into well, if it doesn't work, let's just fix it when the game comes out. Let's just hit the deadline, Whereas back in the day, that's why I feel there were so many delays with a lot of games. It's Zelda Ocarina of Time delayed to another year, because back in the day, I feel like there was a little bit more quality control over games. Just because of the times, the game had to work. Period. Otherwise,
the vetting process needed to be a lot more thorough, because there was no coming back to it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Think about E.T., the video game on Atari. That game just came out and they just pumped it out, and it was so buggy and broken and wrong that game just completely they literally just buried brand new copies of it. That's one example. There are plenty of examples of games that came out that were broken. But a game I'm going to use Destiny as an example, just because, and I'm not criticizing it, but it came out, was supposed to be the biggest game ever. It got a lot of players, loads of people loved it, but there were a lot of people that didn't like it. As soon as the Taken King came out, they had fixed stuff along the way, but they answered all of those questions in essentially an update that you pay for.
Yeah, and in that case, what do you do? Do you re-review the game? Because the Destiny 1.0, as I like to call it, vanilla Destiny, is not the same as Destiny 2.1 with Taken King,
Yeah, I think you have to re-review it, because it's almost like they're two different games.
Exactly. Yeah. The game that we started with is nowhere near close to the game we have right now. So that brings up the point, at what point do you re-review games, Is it fair to re-review games? It's I think the product of the time we live in.
Now you're talking about earning the perfect 10 over time, and so when I look back and I have nostalgia added to my memory of a game, it's going to slowly become closer to a 10 than when I played it. I mean, GoldenEye is a great example. I talked about it earlier. I love that game. I seriously love that game. That is one of the most perfect, if not perfect, game I've ever played. But I'm sure when I was playing it, little 10-year-old me or whatever, how old I was, I'm sure I found a lot of problems with that game. But now, it's probably the most perfect game that I've played.
Yeah, and another point to bring up to the perfect 10 is that nowadays we have people that I think focus a little bit too much on performance of a game. So if a game, for example, isn't running at 60 frames per second, it's unplayable, it's something ridiculous to me. If a game isn't 60 frames, it's unplayable garbage. It's
that's something I wrote down too here is people have certain expectations going into a new game, whether it's based on the previous installments of the franchise or just it's the first on this generation of consoles. And so I think that they are already setting standards that they wouldn't have for other games, simply because they've set these expectations that maybe they don't need to have.
Yeah. Because, like, going back to GoldenEye, if you release GoldenEye today with the performance it had back in the day, it would get completely destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Because, like, you imagine, like you said, like, I remember playing, in my case, it was Perfect Dark. I remember playing Perfect Dark, 4-player co-op, split screen,
Great.
like a 19-inch TV, and the frame rate was ridiculous. It was almost like a slideshow. You know, it was fun. It was fun. You know, and I feel nowadays the performance and presentation for some reason are getting more attention than core gameplay. Unfortunately.
And see, well, I mean, you guys go back to GoldenEye, but I don't think I could say anything back on 64 was perfect for me because, I mean, I still can remember glitches or bugs in those games, but when I go back to Super Nintendo, I mean, I don't know how much of it is nostalgia or not, but I think of a game like Super Mario World or Donkey Kong Country 2, and I just think those games are back then for me, and even if I go back now, those games are perfect. I mean, the difficulty's just right. The graphics were awesome at the time. The music's phenomenal. The controls are great. They're not slippery. They're not stiff. And so I think that, I don't know. Can I give those games a perfect 10? Like, do they hold up? Or is that just, how much do you account nostalgia for? Like,
Well, and then there's this story aspect of it. I mean, like GoldenEye doesn't have a story that we're not familiar with. We've seen the movie. It's exactly the movie. But if you look at a game, so for me, if you were to ask what my favorite perfect game is, for me it's The Last of Us, because that balances gameplay and story. It's and performance as well. I played the remastered, so. That was a beautiful game, had a great story, because I guess people still play. And then also, the gameplay. So much fun. It's it had very new features in it with the live menu that you're changing weapons mid-game. Like those are really cool things that I've never had in a game before. To me, that's the closest thing to a 10.
I'd agree.
See, but the thing is, like, if you go on a forum like NeoGAF, which I like to visit a lot, there's actually people like, oh, like they do what's called late to the party, where they just like, oh, late to the party, The Last of Us, like I just got around to play this game, and this is what I think of it, and you'd be surprised at the amount of people that just hate on the game. It's like, oh, shooting mechanics are terrible, the frame rate is unstable, and it's like. The frame rate, like, it barely drops at all in the game. Even the hectic scenes, and you maybe see like a slight hiccup in the frame rate, but it's nothing game breaking, And it just baffles me that these people are like nitpicking so hard at this game that like around the board it almost has universal acclaim,
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
And to me, it baffles me that like these people are like, well, this isn't so good. The graphics aren't really that great. The shade, it's like, but it's fun. And it has a great story.
Oh yeah,
exactly. And you know what baffles me is like there are people like that who the game will have like almost everything will be perfect as in the context of what we're talking about, perfect here. The majority of the game will be fantastic, and there will be one thing that turns them off completely, that they just walk away and they're like, oh, I'm not going to get this. Oh, it only got, an 8.5 or something like that from this guy. So I think I'm just going to wait. I'm not going to get it. And I'm like, 8.5 is not a bad score. Like, I don't know why people think that. I mean, I think when I think of
if I graduated
with an 8.5,
7's
a good score. A 7 is a good score. It's not great. It's not bad. But it's a game that, it's worth checking out to me. I think 7 and up games you need to give attention to. But anything lower than that, maybe, be a little more hesitant.
Only if you're a fan, maybe.
So let's talk about what game reviews are in general. Who are they for, and why do we review games and movies and everything else?
I see game reviews as reference points, Like, I kind of want to have an idea of what people thought of this game. It does not influence my opinion of the game if I see if it's getting multiple scores. Like, to me, that people have different opinions.
Yeah.
But I like to see if the consensus is. I want to see if people have the same problems I had with it. Does that make kind of sense?
Oh yeah. What about you, Josh? What do you think?
I think, man, it's a tough question. Yeah, I agree with Jerry that they are. You got to take into consideration where the review is coming from, what you're looking for in the review as well. Because, I mean, if you want somebody to make up your mind for you, I mean, that's pointless to write a review. I'm just check a box that says yes or no.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think you need to remember who you are before you go looking at reviews in terms of should you buy the game, because there are games that I really liked that were not, critically acclaimed, but to me, I knew what I was expecting going in. So a game like Lollipop Chainsaw, which I played, it's fun. I mean, it's not a game of the year. It's just, a mindless little hack and slash, fun little zombie cheerleader game. Same thing with Catherine. I love puzzle games. And that was a puzzle game with a really, really cool story. Didn't get the best reviews, but it got good enough reviews that I was in.
It caught your attention.
Yeah, and I knew what I was heading into. So I wasn't let down. And that's the thing, is some people go in with such crazy expectations. And some people that bought onto the Fallout 4 hype train, they were expecting it to nail everything. And they were saying, well, Bethesda, they have all this time and money. They shouldn't have any problems and blah, blah. I'm like, have you not played a Bethesda game before? This is how they are. And this is a huge step up for Bethesda. They're jumping onto the next gen. What are you complaining about? And so I think, like I said, if you know what you're looking for, then reviews, they're a reference point. You don't take them as your final factor, but you take them as, an
opinion, which is what they are.
Yeah, just keep that in mind while you're trying to make up your own mind.
Yeah, and nowadays we have, I guess we've always had a point system, but if you were to go to the movie section in the newspaper back when we were kids, they would have an article that would explain what the movie is, whether the guy liked it or whatever, or you'd have 2 thumbs up or whatever. I mean, there are different ways to have a point system. Now we have Amazon. We have a 5-star system that's our decision maker when it comes to whether or not we're going to purchase. I mean,
yes and no. I mean, it goes back again. You got to go in with.
I absolutely agree with you guys, but that is a huge deciding factor. I mean, if you go to, here's a good example. I loved the Far Cry game, Far Cry 4, great game. If I were to go. When I bought my PlayStation 4, I got it on Black Friday. It was a bundle deal. I actually traded in Grand Theft Auto 5.
Sucker.
I traded in Grand Theft Auto 5. I played so much Grand Theft Auto in my day that I wanted to try something new. I traded in for Far Cry 4. That decision was based on Josh's review. Brought my, Josh, his review. He said
you had already played Grand Theft Auto 5 on the 360, right?
Yeah, well,
there you go.
I think
that's an important note.
But I played a little bit of both of each game. So I had sampled Far Cry 4, and I've sampled Grand Theft Auto 5. So I've played a little bit of both. Now, I spent a couple more hours on Grand Theft Auto 5, but all things being equal, your verbal review, your referral, essentially, is what got me there. So when I look at a game review, I almost have to look at the reviewer. Point system, Yelp, Amazon, any of these video game websites where we have a 9 out of 10 or whatever, that's great. But who's the one giving those points? That is probably the biggest factor when you talk about whether or not you're going to take a review into consideration for purchase. Now, we don't all have $60 a week to go spend on a video game.
Yeah.
So it's really important where we spend our dollars. Battlefront for me, the reviewers that I've read, I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to go ahead and give it a pass this time around because the reviewers that I trust are giving it less than, they're giving it more than 7, but less than my threshold of whether or not I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, that's you bring up a good point too with reviewers, because for a time I was like a huge fan of IGN. Like I listened to all their podcasts and stuff, so like I had a pretty good idea of like the reviewers and like their opinions, and how they felt about certain games.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be, for example, this guy Nate Ahern, he would be a sports guy, the sports reviewer. But every podcast he would talk about, he would talk about how he doesn't enjoy anything but the baseball games and football games. And so when I read a review from him on FIFA, I was like, of course he's not gonna like it. And of course he didn't like it. He trashed it. He didn't trash it, but he gave it like a 7 or something. But it's like, well, what'd you expect? The guy doesn't like soccer. He's not gonna give FIFA a good review. Like if I didn't like first-person shooters, and then you give me to review Call of Duty. I'm not gonna like it, no matter how good the campaign is this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a tough time getting through a horror game. So my review of a horror game, like, I don't know, it's gonna be skewed.
Exactly. So like I think a big part of it is the person doing it. Like, do we know? Like, I think a cool little thing, idea that a lot of reviewers, probably review sites, should do is like kind of put like a little background, like bio link next to reviewers, like, oh, this person prefers this kind of thing, like the shooters and third person shooters, so that we kind of have like an idea of what that person likes, and if his views can kind of
be put in context.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's funny you say that, because I've kind of wanted to add that to the website, because there were like things that I want the reader to know without having to explicitly say, because we're writing everything in third person. But if we were to write it in first person, I want to say, like, this was my, first time playing a game in this franchise, or, hey, I've played Fallout 3 in New Vegas and played them to death, and so this is where I'm coming from into Fallout 4. You already know that I love it, versus somebody who is, jumped on the hype train and this is the first time they've ever been to the wasteland. The reviews would be totally different. And the audience doesn't really know that. But I think that there should be like a little reviewer bio or reviewer in context type paragraph on the side somewhere. So that's
like
definitely
this
something to do.
Like this person has X amount of experience with first person shooters. If it's a first person shooter review, or this person has played previous entries in this franchise, like that'd be definitely a good disclaimer. Because also, I think one of the problems with IGN gave Metal Gear Solid 4 a 10. But the person that did it was like a hardcore Metal Gear fan. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad game, but of course he's going to give it a 10. It's a culmination of a bunch of ideas, but it's not a perfect game.
Yeah, it's very hard to be unbiased in something you spend. So it's not like, I'll be honest, it's not like a movie or a movie franchise where, think of some of the best movie franchises. Harry Potter is one of the most famous franchises. You have, 15 hours of footage?
Yeah.
Whereas a video game, 15 hours, you're scratching the surface. You talk about the amount of Metal Gear games that guy's played. He's hundreds of hours into a story. It's really hard to be unbiased at that point.
Especially when it's the conclusion of it. Well, at that point it was.
Exactly. Yeah. What are your expectations going into a game, into a new game? And what should it do in order to be perfect or get close to?
See, this goes back to what I was saying. Your expectations going in, you have to, if it's a sequel, you have to have, obviously, man, that's a tough question. You either take the experience from the previous installments with you, so you compare what they did right and what they did wrong before, and you compare it to the new version. If it's a brand new IP, you got to remember, how big of a studio is making this game, what kind of budget that they have, what type of genre is this. Like a game like Brutal Legend, when it came out, I was surprised because I thought it was, an adventure hack and slash game. I didn't know I was going to be getting an RTS game in the middle of that. And I had no idea going in. That was not an expectation at all, but that was really my first dip into that genre, and I enjoyed it a lot. I haven't really played anything like that since, but I really, really liked that game a lot. And reviewers did too, and I don't know what their expectations were going in, but I don't know, maybe that says that we shouldn't have any going in at all.
You lower your expectations, but what's the point of lowering your expectations when you want to buy something. I mean, like, you lower your expectations for something you're excited about. Like, that's
I'm not
almost hard to
saying lower it. I'm just saying, I don't know.
Keep it in check. I don't know, because I feel the lower expectations. I think it applies better to movies than it does for games.
Oh, for sure.
Because when I'm excited for a game, for a franchise that I love, like Josh said, like I kind of already know what I'm getting into. Like they should have already learned from their mistakes, and hopefully they'll fix or improve a lot of the things that made their game fun. So when I play Metal Gear Solid 5 and I see all these improvements in the gameplay compared to Ground Zeroes, I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome! Like, they took everything that was wrong, removed it, and added more things to do that were already pretty cool. So I think with games expectations, they can't really be, I gotta say, held in check, because if it's coming from a long running franchise, you kind of know or expect something from it already.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're just beating Bethesda to death, but I'm going to jump on it as an example because Josh gave it a 9 out of 10. But if you read his review, he talks plenty about the bugs in it,
Yeah, and I compare it a lot to the last one.
Yeah, and you compare it to the last one, but you compare it to Bethesda and them being notorious for bugs, but you also talk about all of the great new stuff that they added into it. So it's definitely a balance. It's like a scale in that, you have to weigh the good and the bad. Is there a game that is fully so developed that there are no bugs, that there are no mistakes, that it is a perfect 10? I mean, really?
Well, I mean, there could be a game that has no bugs and is developed well in that sense, but then you got to see, is the story a perfect 10? Is the audio a perfect 10? Are the controls a perfect 10? There's so many elements that's why I said the complexity of today's games make it almost impossible for something to be a perfect 10. That's why I said it'd be really hard for me to give anything a perfect score.
Yeah. That's why what's the website or whatever that just says buy or don't buy? There's one that does. It's like,
a couple websites are steering away from number reviews. Mm-hmm. I know Kotaku likes to do and they don't say buy it, right? They say should you play this game? Play it? Yeah. Yes or no. If you like this, play it. Here's what we liked. Here's what we didn't like, and that's that's good if you have time to read those. I mean, they got that one infographic that people check out. But most people, when they read reviews, they just want to see a number, or they want to check Metacritic, and that's just the audience of most reviews.
That's a very millennial perspective, though, because we are 140 characters limited. I mean, we really got to get to the point,
I mean, I'll read the reviews. I have no problem doing that. I'm just talking about majority of people don't. They don't even, click most of the links they see. They just read a headline and comment about it on Facebook, and then you'll see somebody else. Did you even read it, man? They said this and this.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was good.
Well, cool. Perfect 10. Yeah. And so let us know. I mean, we have a comment section in our website, so nextsavepoint.com. Go in.
Also on Facebook.
And Facebook. Go on Facebook. NextSavePoint. Instagram. NextSavePoint. Twitter. NextSavePoint. Zune. No.
Email us questions. Tweet us some questions.
Yes. Stitcher, iTunes. Let us know in the comment section of any one of those. Send us comment or send us email with questions. Feedback. Let us know what your perfect 10 game is. We would love to hear that, and we'll read it on our next podcast. But so we are moving on to the new releases. Woo-hoo. So, Jerry, why don't you tell us what's coming out?
All right. For the week of November 24th, we got a couple games coming out. We got first and foremost, I think the biggest release, Beyond Two Souls. And here's
best a little new old release.
And here's a little. Players will have another chance to experience the story of Jodie Holmes, played excellently by Ellen Page, a young woman who possesses supernatural powers through her psychic link to an invisible entity. Holmes' journey is intertwined with the complex Dr. Dawkins, brought to life by the inimitable Willem Dafoe, only on PS4.
And PS3.
Oh, that's low. But yeah, if you liked Quantic Dream's last 2 games, Heavy Rain, Indigo Prophecy. This is down your alley. Why not give it a try? And maybe you'll like the ending that you get as opposed to the one I got. Because I think
it's a full game, right? And
it's a full game.
This one's only $29.99, so it's not a full $60.
Yeah, and it's a solid 12 hours of good story.
Really? That 12 hours?
There's only so much you can do, Travis. God.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, not every game could be a World of Warcraft, you know? Infinite hours. But yeah, okay. That's okay. For $30. I mean, 12 hours is not bad.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Then we have Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires for the Vita. Like previous Empire expansions, Dynasty Warriors 8 focuses more on strategical and tactical battle system. It allows players to modify the player's force flag, horses, and soldiers, as well as featuring large-scale stratagems. I guess that's a word for Dynasty stratagems.
Stratagems? I don't know.
Enhanced from Dynasty Warriors 7 Empires. In addition to the marriage system, players' officers can have children with their spouses.
Hey.
A new playable character, Xun Yu, was also added to Empires. Pretty much, it's a compilation of like the DLC of Dynasty Warriors 8, which has already come out for all the bigger consoles. This is just a Vita port.
Funny story about these games. I used to work at GameStop, for those of you that don't know, for a few years. And there'd be like 2 of these Dynasty Warriors games, like the regular one and the Empires. They'd come out every year. And one person would pre-order the game, and we get like 3 copies in the store every day. Every day when they came out, they'd sell out, and we'd never get them again. People would still come in and be like, "Oh, do you have this?" Like, this is weird games, man.
It's one of those games. I've played it, and I don't know which version I played, but I played the crap out of it. But I've never been eager to go back. I mean, it's a fun game. It reminds me of like I don't know, like I don't remember there being much story to it. I just remember like loads of cool action.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's made by the same people who did Dragon Quest Warriors or Dragon Quest Heroes, and which is we reviewed.
Hyrule Warriors 2.
Yeah, and I mean I can see why people like them. I just can't see how they're not getting bored of them. That's my opinion.
Okay. Next one, Minecraft Story Mode Episode 3, titled "The Last Place You'll Look." Available for pretty much every platform known to man. Xbox One, 360, PS4, PS3, PC, iOS, and Android.
No Wii U.
What?
Oh, yeah, no Wii U. Yeah. The game follows the episodic format that Telltale used for its titles like The Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us, and Game of Thrones, where player choices and actions have significant effects on later story elements, as well as the opportunity to tell a story in the otherwise open-ended nature of Minecraft. The game centers around a new character named Jesse and their allies as they attempt to save the world.
What do you think? You gonna get it?
No.
Well, I didn't get the first 2 episodes, but
yeah. I downloaded. I think the first episode was free a couple weeks ago.
Oh man!
I get Minecraft for what it is. I mean, I'm interested in the story. I'd be eager to see what it does.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I don't know. I mean, I haven't been staying up to date. I know they added a ton of new stuff. I played when it first came out on 360, so it was a lot more basic back then. And I played a ton of it. But now there's like dragons and like enders. I don't know. There's a lot more stuff to do.
Which is like what?
Yeah. Now there's like a story to it, which was weird because for me it was like playing Legos when I had that game.
Well, and Legos has done really well with stories. You know, in their world, what do you call it? Franchise. So, I mean, why not Minecraft? So I'll check it out. I'll play it. I probably won't review it on the website.
Well, if I do play it, I'm gonna wait till they do a full retail version with all the episodes.
Because I think there's only 5 episodes for this, and they're on the 3rd one, so you got a couple months more to wait. Yeah. Okay, and last on for this week is Teslagrad for the Vita. Teslagrad is a 2D puzzle platformer with action elements where magnetism and other electromagnetic powers are key to throughout the game. What? This is a terrible sentence, sorry. The game features minimal combat segments coupled with electric-based puzzle sections and precise platforming. Teslagrad is set in a steampunk-inspired version of old Europe in a non-linear world with more than 100 hand-drawn environments. So this game actually has already come out for, again, every platform known to man except the Vita. And it's finally getting a release this Tuesday.
I think I got it on PlayStation 4. I think it was free for a little bit.
It was free. It was free, yeah. No.
I haven't played it, though.
Yeah, when you posted this up, I looked at it. I'm like, okay, that sounds super familiar, and I think I have that on the download somewhere in Teslagrad.
Yeah, no, it's been out on PC since on Steam since 2014, and it came out on PS4 this year, way earlier.
Isn't that great? That's almost 2 years ago, guys.
Yeah, and it's finally coming to the Vita. So I guess if you needed your Teslagrad fix on the Vita, you'll be happy.
Okay, so how does that work? Because it came out on PS4, right? And PlayStation Plus.
Yes.
If
it's cross-buy, you should be able to just download it directly to your Vita. If it's cross-buy.
But can't you just play from your Vita? Can't you play your PlayStation 4 games?
Yes. That's correct.
But not wherever you want. That's if you're on your Wi-Fi network with your PS4.
Okay,
I couldn't go to your house and play my PlayStation 4 games.
Yeah, you could. I could play Destiny from work on my Vita. Yeah. The thing is, you have to have a really strong connection. In my old apartment, I had a really, really fast connection. So, and my work connection is also strong. So I turned on my Vita, turned on the remote play, and it turned on my PS4, and I could play virtually with zero lag. I could play on my Vita at work, my PS4. You just need really good internet.
And you still have a job?
That's pretty good, though.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad they brought it to Vita, so now we can play it on airplanes. I don't know. I'm trying to think of where you don't have internet anymore. I mean, nowadays Wi-Fi's free. I mean, that's, and it's getting better. I mean, I remember going to coffee shops and trying to do schoolwork and trying to download videos and stuff like that. It's like, oh, this video will take 32 minutes to download. You're like, okay, yeah. Well, I'll be here for a while. Now it's 4 minutes. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
That's cool. That's all the releases for this week. I mean, nothing too exciting. Just Beyond. You should totally check out.
I think Beyond Two Souls is probably the one that I'll pick up. Now that we do this professionally, I have a reason to spend money on this stuff.
Get a new perspective on it. Maybe for you, it'll be I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the reason I want to play it, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play it so that they chalk me down, or they write me down as one of the people that really liked it, and then that way they make the Heavy Rain port. I really want that Heavy Rain port.
Well,
you're getting it.
Did you know? If you buy Beyond Two Souls digital version, you will get a discount on Heavy Rain when it comes out.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, sweet.
I don't know how much, but that's what the press release said.
100%. It probably won't be 100%.
That would be. I would buy Beyond 2.
Josh, have you played Beyond Two Souls?
No, I got it for free on the PlayStation 3 after I sued the crap out of Sony. I got a class action lawsuit bundle reward thing with the Vita launch because I bought it at launch.
That's right.
And they gave away some games because I think it had something to do with the 3G play or the on-the-go play of, pick up your game and finish it when you're out. They show the commercial where the guy's playing baseball at home and he goes on the trolley and he's finishing playing, whatever inning he was in. He just jumps right into it via the 3G network. And they're like, yeah, your stuff didn't really work like that. So it's false, advertising. So everybody's suing you. And I got that letter and I was like, sure, I'll take some free games.
Well, so
I got Beyond Two Souls, Twisted Metal, which I think became a PlayStation Plus game anyways, and a couple Vita games. I don't remember what they were.
You know what? I'm not a fan of class action lawsuits, but if you're on the receiving end of getting 3 sweet games, sometimes it's a plus. Sometimes it's a good thing. Well, very cool. That is our show.
Episode 2.
Episode 2. Yeah.
We made it.
Yes. So everybody, listeners, please, like I said, go find us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, wherever you want to play your podcasts. Go ahead and leave comments. Tell us how great we're doing. If you don't like it, then just tell us how great we're doing.
Constructive criticism.
And then obviously,
give us a 10 out of 10. Give us a perfect 10.
Yes, we take 10 out of 10s. I think iTunes is a 5-star system, so please 10 out of 10. And then follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, NextSavePoint. And then also check us out on our website, nextsavepoint.com. And we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Adios.